Hey guys, it's Brandon with Investment Joy. One of my New Year's resolutions, I guess, is to shoot a little more content. So that's what we're going to do. This is a follow up video to one I did almost a year ago. Um, in a 1 year period, since that video, more or less, I've bought another 40 rentals. And I continue to get messages on Discord, Slack, Reddit, the other social media channels that I'm involved in, asking the question, where do you find cheap properties? I guess most people have a problem finding cheap houses, and I get bombarded all day with nonstop um, begging to buy cheap houses off people. So I'm going to go over with my high-tech solution the most recent 40 rentals that I've bought. All right, so here we are starting in March 2017. This is the first property that I bought in the 1 year period. Let me see. The source on this, I'm not sure why it's not showing, but the source on this was the standard MLS listing. I saw it on the MLS. It was a really good price. I knew the agent that listed it. They had a terrible time selling it. This picture was taken after we redid the roof. There were multiple holes in an old chimney. You can actually see the old chimney right here. But it was damaged. The chimney was falling apart. There was graffiti over here. Just a real big mess. Anyway, we paid $15,000 for it, 30 rehab, $825 a month rent. That's just a standard MLS listing. Over these 40 that I'm talking about, I've only bought 2 properties on the MLS, and this is one of the 2. This was unit number 51, number 52. Not that great of a property, but it's a property nonetheless. Here's where we get into the interesting situation. This is one of my favorite deals. I spent $160,000, I think it was, on 16 different rentals. There was a real nice guy. He's the one that actually started our local Real Estate Investors Association. Gary started it back in 1999, I want to say. Anyway, he started purchasing rentals in 1981, had them up until 2016, or no, 2014, and then he decided that he wanted to get rid of all of his properties. He gave them to his son. His son ran everything into the ground. He came to our REI meeting around, I think it was August 2016, had a big list of 32 rentals and asked if anybody would be interested in purchasing them. There's only 2 people in the whole entire room that was interested, me and a real estate agent. The real estate agent said, "Oh, I know somebody in North Carolina. They've got $1 million to spend here in Central Ohio. They'll take them." So me and this agent from a brokerage here in this area, we went through all 32 rentals. He told us he'd take $350,000 or $400,000 for them all. I put together an offer, talked to an investor. We came up with $600,000, which is what I valued the entire package at, purchase plus rehab. He came back and said, "No, I want $850,000 because my daughter decided that the properties were worth $1.2 million." So going from $350,000 to him claiming $1.2 million or $800,000 or something, whatever it was, it knocked me out. That, like I said, that was mid-2016. He called me January the 1st, 2017, and said, "Hey, everything has fallen through. I have to sell these properties. I'll give them to you for what I quoted you originally, which is $350,000. By that point, my investor, one of my primary investors, who I'd gone to beg for the $600,000, he more or less said, "Screw this guy. He doubled his price, tripled his price on us." It took me 2 weeks to figure out how to move my money around to come up with $600,000. Just because I'm PO to this, forget about it. So I told Gary, the guy that owned these, I said, "Gary, I'm sorry, my investor's PO'd. I can't do anything. Let me call a buddy up here where I live. He might be interested in buying one property off you." We'll get to that property later, but I sold a buddy of mine a group of properties. I told him if you give me a couple months, I can come up with some money of my own to purchase some of these. So I bought 16 rentals off Gary for $160,000. This is one of the first properties in that package. A little house, 3-bed, 1-bath, okay-ish neighborhood. I get $840 a month in rent. It's really nice. I had to evict drug dealers in almost every single one of these properties. This is one of Gary's properties I bought off him. I figure I have 20 in it, put 10 in it. Got it from an REIA contact. This is the basement of that house. Has a full basement. It's gigantic. It's an 800 square feet basement. Here's a little kitchen. It was cramped. It's not that bad now. Here's the living room, I think. Here's a parrot room, I guess. I don't know. Here's the upstairs. This is a converted attic. Someone took an attic and they turned it into an extra bedroom to make it a 3-bedroom. It is real similar to a lot of houses in the 50s in this neighborhood. Here is the second house in the package. I spent $20,000 on it, 10 in rehab. It's only a 2-bedroom. Also has a real full basement. This has one of the largest yards of anything that I've got. This was, we closed on this July 2017. Great money maker. After we got our work done in it, it's fantastic inside. I don't have any pictures. It's in much better shape. Also, these pictures over here, those are pre-rehab photos. Those are when their crazy drug dealing tenant was still in there that I had to evict. There's a common theme with buying properties off local landlords, and that common theme is you have to evict their tenants. I evict probably 70% of the properties I take over. Here is one of my absolute favorites from that deal. This is a 5-unit apartment complex. This was built back in 1890 by the manager of the B&O Railroad in this district. If you ever play Monopoly and you get B&O Railroad, the guy that manages for Southern Ohio, this is the house he built. It is absolutely gorgeous inside. This is a pre-rehab exterior photo. We didn't do a ton of work on the outside, but we did some work. The photos from the inside are after rehab. Here's a staircase. I think it's either walnut or cherry. It's a 3-story house or 3-story apartment complex. Has a gorgeous staircase. I wish I had more pictures of the woodwork. We put $15,000 in it. I paid $35,000 for it, so this was one heck of a deal. It makes $2,500 a month. Here's kitchen photos of just one of the places. I was in here the other day. We had 2 turnovers, so I took pictures because I didn't have too many. There's a bathroom, hallway. There you go. Here is duplex. This one was actually in foreclosure. Like I said, Gary gave his son his 32 rentals, and the son ran them in the ground so bad. This duplex, great neighborhood, fantastic neighborhood. This is probably one of the worst houses on the block, but the son forgot to pay the mortgage payments on this. So when I purchased it, there was a yellow tag on the door saying, hey, you're in foreclosure. So we had to, some of the delay and the span of time in here is because we had to work through getting a foreclosure release with a local bank. That's number 6061. I have 35 in it. After it's all said and done, made $1,050. I have not had a day of vacancy on this. It's awesome. Here's the inside of one unit, kind of dumpy. This is a pre-rehab photo. Gary and probably not Gary, but the son he gave him to. He didn't have money for a window on the back porch, so they put in a sliding glass door because they would rather use a sliding glass door than a window. So we had to frame this in, box it in to even get it to pass insurance. Missing trim. I mean, this is just kind of what people do with great properties they don't take care of. Here's the rear of it. You can see that sliding glass door, which, from an insurance standpoint, a kid's going to fall on that and die. We also redid part of the roof here. I think we recoated this whole thing. Here is one that I actually sold. In order to buy these off Gary, I had to purchase this one that I really didn't like. It's all on one service panel, meaning it doesn't have separate electric. And I hate paying for tenant utilities because they do not take care of anything. So I actually sold this. I bought it for $25,000. I sold it for like $25,000 or $27,000 to a guy in our real estate investor group. He's already taken it, turned it over. He's done a pretty good job. It's not that it was bad condition-wise. It's just that I would have much rather preferred to concentrate. And one of the downsides with me buying so many properties and over a 1-year period, which I really honestly wasn't ready for, is the fact that some of these sat on the shelf forever. I sold this one in the first part of 2018, so it sat from July 2017 to January 2018 and literally did nothing to it. So some of these, 1,600 a month rent looks nice, but if it says vacant for 6 months before you can rehab on it, 1,600 a month is less attractive. But I'm in this for the long haul. This is actually the day that I looked at it. Here's the agent that said she had the multi-million-dollar buyer. That's Gary's son that screwed everything up. So this is the day. This house over here has sold for a boatload of money. I think it sold for $60,000 or $70,000. They have fixed it up, so that's kind of neat. It's a good neighborhood. Here's one of the little studio apartments. It's a dump. Here's one of the upstairs apartments. It's the nicest one in the whole building. Here's a bathroom with checkered floor. Here's a shed. I paid $500. A couple local guys with chainsaws and sledgehammers tore it down. Here's one of my other really nice ones. This is a quadplex. This actually was the big train station for B&O Railroad in Southern Ohio. It was built in 1860, and it's a dump on the outside, but we really spent some time working on the inside. It's a quadplex. Everything was separately metered. Brings in $1,600 a month. Great money maker. We got this one actually turned over pretty quick, which is nice, but not all of them were quick turnovers. Here's another exterior shot. Another exterior shot. Here's the post-remodel kitchen. I don't think I have too many pre-rehab photos. If you get on our YouTube channel, you can actually see me walk through this before we rehabbed it. I've only got a couple post-rehab photos because I'm renting these apartments for $350, $400, and they just go super quick. I pretty much take photos, put them on our website, and they're rented. So that's cool. This is the day that we're putting new flooring in. We had to set it. So these pictures are kind of old. Here is after I bought all those off Gary in our real estate investor group, I started meeting with a lot of local landlords on a very regular basis, and I was eating breakfast at a restaurant like half a block away from here, and someone said, I accidentally bought a house, and everybody laughed and said, how did you accidentally buy a house? And they said, well, I was at the sheriff's sale and bid $10,000 on a triplex, and I didn't see it, didn't want to buy it. I don't buy these kinds of houses. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And everybody pointed at me and said, hey, sell it to Brandon. He'll buy it because those are his kinds of properties. If you get on our YouTube channel again and look for the firebomb house, this is the firebomb house. Someone threw a Molotov cocktail through a window over here. From what I heard, they had a big old Confederate flag. This is more of a diverse neighborhood. And I'm not saying that in a bad way on diversity. I'm saying that it's just a diverse neighborhood. There's a lot of different kinds of people here, and they found it very unwise to have a big old Confederate flag, and someone threw a firebomb through it. That's the story I heard. The owner took the insurance money and ran. I bought it for $15,000. I've put $35,000 in it or so as of today. We still haven't got the firebomb unit fixed, but right now I'm bringing in about $1,000 a month off of it, which is cool. But that took forever to rehab because we had to dig up the whole entire yard and run a new water line from here to here because it exploded. We closed on this September 2017. It took a year to get it. Really took a year to get it fixed right. That's just that's the postscript on a deal like this, for better or worse. Here's the inside. The inside's great, but it took us 6 months to find a directional boring company to fix the water on it, which sucked. Really was not in bad shape at all. This is a mix of post and pre-rehab photos. This is a post-rehab photo. We put new flooring in here. We had to paint and do some drywall work. We had to completely reframe this door because it had been completely termite infested and destroyed. Here's an upstairs bedroom. This is above the unit that had the fire. Over the floors, we just painted them. Not too bad a deal. That's pretty nice. Especially if the water would not have blown out on us, this would have been an absolute steal for $15,000. But I think we put like $7,000 just in getting the water redone. So I've got $30,000 in it right now, which, it sucks. Stuff like this happens. Here is, of all these properties, this is the only mistake that I have. We have not fixed this house up. It is a dumpy little 4-bed, 1-bath ranch. kind of crappy part of town. I got money on it. I mean, the agent kind of begged me into it, and I'm friends with the agent. So on paper, it looked really good, but we bought it October 2017. It's now January 2019. It's still not done yet. It'll probably be 3 months before I actually get it done. But we've for $13,000. I figured we could sit on the shelf. I probably could resell this for 35 grand with a little bit of work, but I want to keep it because it's it'll be HUD eligible when it's done, and I can get $800 a month. Snap my fingers. Here's one of my more favorite properties. If you remember the duplex I bought off Gary, this is almost in the backyard of it on another street. My good friend sold this to me. He does not like small houses that are hard to rent. I can't remember what his excuse was for selling this one, but he sold it to me for $21,000. And the deal is with this was one of my best creative finance deals. I called the landlord that I had when I was a kid. The landlord my parents really hated because he was so mean to them because he would not land contract a house. My dad wanted to land contract the house we had growing up. He wouldn't do it unless my dad came up with $5,000. My dad could not come up with $5,000, and my mom and dad always kind of hated the landlord for it. But I called him up one day and said, "Hey, I know you used to own a bunch of properties. Do you want to loan me money to buy some houses?" And he said, "Sure. I know you've been doing this for a few years, and you've got some experience under your belt. Tell me how much you want." So I asked him for 40 grand on this house. So we loaned 40 on it. I only have 21.5 in it. So the point is, I put 19,000 in my pocket on this. Like I said, I got it off my good buddy. He owns about 100 rentals here in town. He just didn't like this one. He had never had luck with tenants on it. I fixed it up real quick. I think we fixed it up by February 2018. Rented it out. The girl that rented it off me in the first part of 2018, she's still living in there. My buddy could not get a tenant to live in here, and here I've had a girl in there for a year. Like I said, this is a buddy of mine. He's called me up and said, I hate this house. Please buy it. But anyway, the real juicy thing here is I loaned $40,000 on it, so I put 19 in my pocket. Real nice house. We only put $500 in it. We had to cut out this. We had to cut out a cabinet. That was the most involved thing. Oh, we had to put a new furnace in it. We had a furnace laying around. I had to put one in. Going back, you know how I said I loaned $19,000 on that house? I took 19 grand, added 1,000 out of my own pocket, and I used it to buy a 7-unit apartment complex in downtown. I got the seller to finance it as a land contract. He's a big time investor, works for the county sheriff department. So banks love him. Banks do not love me. This was actually one of Gary's properties. Remember early on I said Gary needed to sell one, and I sold one to my friend, the investor that works for the sheriff department. He had it from January 2017 to January 2017. He could not get the bed bugs out of it. He couldn't get the roaches out of it. He had 2 or 3 tenants that disappeared on him. He did not have any luck with this place whatsoever. So he called me up and said, "Hey, I will finance you on this property. 3 years, just pay my mortgage payment. Give me $20,000 down, and within 3 years, refinance it out for $125,000. If that's off the top of my head. This baby makes $13.25 a month. The taxes on it are obscene. My tax is like $400 a month or something like that. But it's a 7-unit apartment complex. This was built in 1850. This was, from what I heard, one of the first post offices in southern Ohio. So that was kind of cool. The basement's limestone. The basement's actually in good shape. I very rarely see good limestone basements, but this is one of them. Great money maker. We actually had somebody die in here in this front apartment. This is the front apartment here. Got a call from the sheriff's department. They busted down the door. One of my tenants had died. This is the unit where the guy died. Took us about a month to fix it. This is actually, would you know that his body was found right here? And we painted the floors, and that's all we had to do, which is kind of weird and morbid and interesting, but with a house that's 170 some years old, you know, you're going to, I'm sure there's a lot of people that died in here. Here's another apartment complex. We just rented this one out. This guy actually almost died. He had to go into hospice care in the VA. So he also threw in this house. So the guy that bought Gary's sevenplex over there downtown, Gary also threw in this house for free. So this was also a part of the deal. I put $5,000 in it. We fixed it up pretty quick. $750 a month. I guess I should have talked about the lead source, how I got this deal. My buddy, he had been following me on Facebook for quite some time, seeing that I ran rentals and had stuff, and he told me on Facebook, hey, if you ever run into a deal, message me. So after Gary called me, I messaged him on Facebook. We did all the communicating on Facebook. Facebook does wonders for me. Just because I get really good deals. $750 a month, like on that one. It's pretty good. The inside. We spent $5,000 only in aesthetics. We didn't do any structural upgrades or anything. We put vinyl. We put new countertop. Those are the cabinets that Gary's son put in. He put cabinets in, but they didn't have any countertops. So, go figure. Here is another really interesting deal. This was, I say agent on here, but it really was a Facebook deal. This agent had a really terrible, dirty, filthy house for sale for 4 years. So she had a house listed for 4 years. Days on market was obscene. She kept asking me to buy it. I kept telling her no, and she said, what would it take for you to buy this house off me, Brandon? And I said, if your seller will finance everything and throw in a couple free houses, I'll buy it. And more or less, she said, okay, let me call him. And I thought, this is ridiculous. No one will ever do this. She called back and said, well, you know what? This guy has a double wide, a duplex, and this house. He will sell them all to you for $105,000. He'll carry that for 2 years, and he wants $5,000 down. And I said, well, I don't even have to look at those houses. I'll take them. So this is a double wide on a ginormous corner lot in a really fantastic neighborhood. It's in a real small town right outside Columbus, Ohio. Kind of a slow little burg with 1,000 people. I paid $5,000 for the whole package of 4 units. This is a double wide. Just real, or not double. Yeah, it's a double wide. It's an old double wide, late 70s double wide. It's kind of dirty on the outside. This is the duplex. This is the only attached building I have. This is a dumpy, attached single-family house. That's the only one I own like this. I do not own this over here, but I own this duplex here, which is actually really nice. Location-wise, this is in the backyard of that double wide over here. We're up to number 8485. I get $875 a month rent out of it. I did nothing. The tenants are still in here. The girl that lives down on the bottom is real nice. The people upstairs are druggies. So I hope they're not watching, but let's face it, they're druggies. So this is also on the $105,000 land contract. This is the dog that was listed for over 4 years. This is the one the agent kept calling me about, and we communicated on Facebook. So I haven't even got this one rented out. The people that live in this blue house here threatened to kill me. I actually won a award for the worst horror story in Central Ohio with this house. They dug a trench under the yard with a buried cable. They ran it into a electrical panel over here. I caught them, dug up the wire, threw it in the yard, knocked on the window here nicely and said, please don't steal electric off me. And the guy came out screaming, yelling, threatening to stab me. So I said, I don't want to put up with this crap. So we just put it on the back burner forever. They're working on it today, I guess, here, January 2019. So I've gone a year without any money from this place. So we'll make $625 a month on it, but just it's a dog. I've got videos on this on Facebook too. Here is one I bought just because I could. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, go call these people. They're going to lose this house." It's a gorgeous house. It's 6 bed, 3 bath, 3,400 square feet. I mean, it's a really freaking cool house. I called these people up and said, "Hey, can I just take over your mortgage payment and pay you $250? And can you just, can I have this house? And they said, yeah, pretty much. They were going to lose it to the bank. They thought they were upside down equity-wise. They really weren't, but they had a lady start a flop house in here. She was renting out each room illegally to like 8 different people, drugs in and out of here. The people moved to North Carolina, and they just weren't able to maintain this house at all. And it's hard to be a landlord and deal with drug tenants. So I offered them $250. They owe $52,000 on the mortgage still. I got $750 a month rent out of it, which is way low. I'm renting it to people that I know and like. I'm not making much money on this place, but now that we fixed it up, it's worth $125,000. So I've got probably $75,000 in equity sitting here. I might flip it. I guess I don't like flipping. I like having assets that build equity. So I don't know. Maybe that makes me smart. Maybe it makes me dumb. I don't know. But I paid $250, and then I had to catch them up on their mortgage. I think they were behind $800. So great, pretty good neighborhood. It's in between two low-income housing complexes, which sucks. But the mayor's house lives right. The mayor of this town lives over here, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, this is networking. This is a Facebook deal. We did all the paperwork on Facebook. Here's a room. I don't know why I have a picture of this, but I do. So here's the bathroom. Kind of, not that great, but there is a clawfoot tub upstairs somewhere, which is kind of cool. Here is another $250 deal. They were losing this one as well. They owed they were behind 2 mortgage payments on this. This is another networking on Facebook deal. They called me and said, hey, Brandon, can we just give you some houses? We've got drug dealers in here, busted water lines, just a mess. I said, all right, I'll give you $250. They owe $46,000 on their mortgage. I took it over. This is a really cool little house. I make $425 a month out of it. I did somebody a favor. I should be renting it probably for, I probably could get $550 a month out of it. This is a 2-bed, 1-bath two bed, 1-bath block built house. It will be here unless a nuclear bomb drops on Central Ohio. Real cool deal. They threw in this duplex here in front. So it's a duplex and a house all on one lot. I've had tenant problems up here, but makes $750 a month in rent. Once again, I did it with a master lease and an option. I might do a video in the near future about master lease and options, but it's a way to get around banks. Banks hate when people seller finance stuff, so master leasing with an option is a way to get around that bank requirement. And this, this right here was February 2018, so in 11 months I've gone from 50, I started off at rental number 50, and we ended up here at rental number 90. After February 2018, I haven't bought anything till this place. I bought 2 laundromats, and they came with 2 free apartment complexes. I got them for pretty much nothing. I tried to buy a hotel here in town, and I lost the bid on the hotel for $500. The hotel's right next to this place, and I figured, I'll get back at the hotel by buying the laundromat. So that's what I did. Laundromat's not up and running yet, but they're starting on it tomorrow, I guess. So once again, I wanted to go over these and talk to everybody and tell you how I bought 40 houses in 11 months. Here in Central Ohio, and my capital outlay. If you add these numbers up, I did not spend a lot of money on these houses. I think I might have like maybe $350,000 out of pocket on everything. But if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm on Reddit and the real estate investing Discord chat, which is kind of cool. But happy house hunting, and this is proof that you can buy stuff really, really cheap. These seller finance deals that I have make me all sorts of money. Thank you for watching.